about the Nasoro and the things that gone beyond. The Nasoro and Yehud too are afraid of these ones because they are the ones they are really preying on. So the atheists and the atheists too are even playing. Some are out there now. They are far ahead of the atheists. So we have to know them and we have to fact. It is the future working now. There's no, if you are memorizing the whole Quran, the whole Surah Bukhari, a Muslim, and you're not aware of these new ideologies, you are likely to fall in prey to them. So that's why we have brought these two scholars. They are they've gone through a lot when they were in the second, but they were almost a victim. They were accused of being extremists themselves. Meanwhile, those who were accusing them were the actual extremists. So, because they found them calling people away from extremism, they were calling people to moderate Islam. They were teaching people like Islam. So, but these people felt uncomfortable. They accused them. So, alhamdulillah, they survived it. So, one of them is a lawyer and also an stars. The other one, a journalist, also an stars. So, they will enlighten, open our eyes to what to watch out for in the campus and it goes to our watch. We pray that will bring them here safely and I will allow them to guide them. I want us to pay attention. So we're going to ask questions too today. I want us to pay attention. I was not too pleased. Some of us were busy with our food successfully. So this is a gathering. Yes, the money may be cheap, it's only 2K. But money you look at from your house to journey here, that's an effort. You are here to 10 hours, put to account for our family and assist us in putting it into practice. And assist gathering of impacting one another. We ask Allah to make this fruitful for us. Whatever we're doing here today, we ask Allah to do the right thing. We ask Allah to make it useful for us in this life and hereafter. I'll be giving the topic navigating modern ideologies as a Muslim. Rather, navigating modern ideologies in the university. And having what's here, that is the actual topic. But I want to make it broader. Because there are some of us that are not investing in our thing. Some are not ready to invest in it. Whatever I'm going to learn here is not going to be useful just to invest in it. It is the word our current world. It is what it is. Right? It's not just a university. A university is just a micro representation of that world. Once we leave the university, the challenges in the university will be greater. Or the challenges you see outside the world will be greater than the one you see in the university. Because in the world, you meet more people. In fact, the challenges will be more pronounced in the actual world. Because the university is kind of restricted. People are still able to go to the university. So they can display some things inside the world. But once they go out, they have to bring us down. And that is why we have to tell them. And that is why you see some people, they are religious in the university. But when they go outside, when they start looking for work, once the reality of that is there, they need to lose themselves to the world. Sometimes they become problems. Because they don't have people around them to remind them of who they are. They are each other's mirrors. When you see something in me, you correct me. When I see something in you, I remind you. But one thing I know, in a world where ideologies to come, your own identity, you have another person's identity. If you are doing something wrong, you don't see it as something wrong. So you shouldn't tell you are doing something wrong. Over time, they use their thing to the world. Or sometimes some people deliberate. Say navigating modern ideologies as a Muslim, wherever you are. I want to preserve your fear as a Muslim.
So that's what we do now. But like the Sunnah of addressing methodology of scholars, we discuss issues. We're going to talk about it chronologically, step by step, academically. Right now, the interaction of discussion. For you to understand, what you're navigating, or what you're navigating. To navigate, what does it look at the when you navigate, what does it mean? To find direction. Because they are defining better than what I wanted to see. Finding your direction, finding your path, the right path to the Muslim. Finding it in the world in the mix of all different paths that we have in the world today. So as a Muslim, you have to find your path. You have to follow the Islamic which is okay. And we are all. So that's what I'm getting. Modern. What does modern mean? What does modern mean? Please tell me everything. Now, recent. Recent. Like hadith. Current. Or contemporary. That's modern here. But for the sake of our discussion, when I say modern, I always use the word modern. It doesn't mean what is born today when it can happen. We are going to multiply back to something of as far back as 3 centuries ago, which is regarded as modern. In comparison to Islam. In comparison to what? Islam. To Islam and the way of life as a Muslim. Contemporary ideologies, going as far back as or as recent as 300 to 400 years. So I don't talk on a little bit of Islam. Then ideologies. What is ideology? As you can see on the screen, an ideology is a doctrine or a body of beliefs or principles belonging to an individual or a group. Repeat. Ideology, when I say ideology, it's a doctrine. A belief system. It's a belief system that distinguishes you from other persons, or that distinguishes a group of people from other groups of people. That is ideology. So when people use the word ideology, some people use it strictly and some people use it loosely. It depends on what you're talking about in the context. So under the Islamic ideology, we have different ideologies that try to ascribe themselves to Islam. Another will tell you ideology of so and so sect, ideology of so and so sect. It's a set of beliefs that distinguish a person or a group of people from other persons or other groups of people. Up this layer. This is the definition that is relevant to our discussion. Another definition of ideology is the study of ideas. Study of people. That's our point of view. That's it. Now, ideology is connected to identity. What is your identity? What is identity as a Muslim? Identity is different. Identity is different. Or character, what sets you apart, that marks you off another person, an individual, or a collective group of people, like a group of people. That is, for example, in the mosque right now, and they are in this mosque, in this gathering, there's something you identify with. This is Islam, to follow the Sunnah, to obey Allah. Right? Correct. People that are gathered, for example, in church right now, that's a different people, different identity. People that are gathered that have gone to watch Kayo, and they go silent. They have different identities. Even though that have gone to watch Kayo, and they go silent. They have different identities. Even though they have some common grounds, like things in common. For example, we are all humans, we have something in common. We are all Yorubas, or we are Igbos, or we are Hausas. So we have identities under, like sub-identities under identities. All put together now. There are some Muslims right now, they find this kind of gathering a waste of time because they identify with something else. So identity is that difference of character that sets you apart, that distinguishes you from another person or other groups of people. Even if they are of the same kind. Like humans, for example, like I said, we are all Yorubas, we have different identities. And a black man has an identity that is distinct from and the woman. The Russian has an identity that is distinct from somebody from Oyo, for example, even if they have common grounds. Are you with me now? Even amongst yourselves, people that support Baka amongst you. Baka has their identity, Baka has their identity. Best boy and club, where they say more than the club. They have something to identify with. It's them from those that support Madrid or Chelsea. In fact, Premiership supporters have a distinct identity than those that watch Serie A or La Liga, for example. So I think you should distinguish yourself. So that's right. You should move from street to street. And you see a group of boys in the street, they have a different identity than the boys from Lucia. Among your lingo and together, you say your lingo and your discussion. Please, that's here. I just found out yesterday. That's here. You know your own. You're not the same. Or do your own. You're your own. So these are identities that people have. And it's natural. It's natural. That is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have created you into tribes and nations. People are for each and identify yourself. There's a reason why that because of different reasons. Some are black, some are white, some are brown, some are tall, some are short. Some they have a particular shape of them, some go, some their physique is distinct from others. And this peculiarities translates into how we interact with the world. That's why somebody excel in the type of field, while some may excel in that same field. There's a reason why the sprinters of the world, fastest men are black people. And sprinters, usually they are black people. Athletes, you go to America now, there are some sports that people you find they are black, 90%. Why there are some sports people you find they are white. It goes back to our biological differences, and we look at that one as given us different functions. In which some people will interact with some intellectual challenges. It's different from the way some people interact with the same thing. And they are faced with the same problem. In fact, siblings, I saw a theory of, let's say, an experiment. Twins or triplets, they place their mother put the barrier, the tape, and the door. Triplets. And each of them navigated that barrier differently. So the way people behave, the way they talk, even the way they think, translating the way they carry out the actions. Our biological makeup affects the way we carry out our actions. If our mental setup as well affects the way we carry out our actions. I don't know, there's a particular video that affects my environment. If footballers, popular footballers, Messi, Alba, and Suarez. Messi, Alba, and Suarez. Those are really emotions. One is a defender, the other one is a midfielder, and the striker. Two are strikers, but two different types of strikers. One is the pure center forward, right? The other one is the one that the forward can play in the front. Yeah. So they are going to not saw a barrier, the barrier. The one that is left back went to go and pass, right? The barrier did not cross the barrier. He went to go and pass. He went to the header as if it's overlapping. Yeah, these are playful emotions. While the one that is striker, he crossed over his legs, but it's like this time. His legs to cross over, climbed and crossed over the barrier. While the one that is center forward, while the one that is more dynamic from the player, that is he now passed on there. The one that passed on there was fastest. Right? And that was Messi. He passed on there and he reached his objective faster than the one that crossed with his legs, and the one that went to go and pass side was the last one. So if you look at that action and look at the way they execute their actions in the field, It's very, very connected. It's very connected. One looks for the simplest way to best outcome. And that's why it doesn't do development skills. Because he knows how to what he used to go quickly. And that's missing. So it's already then we have the Suarez. Suarez will buy you. If he has to buy you to school, he will buy you. And that's why he crossed his legs. While Alba will always want to go to the France and assist his characters. That's why automatically what he did was to go through the France to get to school. Allah Adam, the point there is we are different people. We are different. Humans are different. I have to understand the differences in dealing with one another. You have to understand and respect it. And have integrity in what makes you stand out. This particular point is important. Have as a Muslim, as a person, you must have integrity with what makes you what stand out from the others. You mustn't try to copy someone else in what they do. For example, there are some persons that want you. If you give them 10 verses, within 5 minutes they memorize it. Why some of you spend 1 hour memorizing that particular verse? So in fact that somebody has memorized the same person within 5-10 minutes, doesn't mean you must be like that person. In a saga, and that's it, indeed you have been created with different actions or efforts. So your efforts to be good will be different. And you will work as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has facilitated to work. Okay, together now. There are some that will be good in mathematics. Why there are some that will struggle with maths? Or give them literature or English. They'll break it for you. Give them imagination, they will write stories. But the fact that he's deficient in math does not mean what he is what is unintelligent. Okay, together. As a matter of fact, we may have an issue which maybe he has dysplasia. He has problem with identifying words or dyscalculia. He has problem with identifying figures and making calculations. These are issues that are what adamantly he was created that way to not because dyscalculia can be two forms. Acquired dyscalculia or inborn dyscalculia. Acquired is that which probably by trauma he had an accident, so they affected his brain. So some things are not functioning properly. So I don't know. Or that. There's a noise that distracted. So dyscalculia, for example, dyscalculia can be acquired. That is through trauma or accident. Why it can be inborn when the person was born with. Based on what they say, some part of the brain that is responsible for long-term memory or calculation is not functioning well or as optimally. That is why the person is deficient in mathematics or something, or in identifying alphabets. So all these things show that what we are different. So we have to appreciate our differences. And we have to, in terms of not putting pressure on ourselves, undue pressure on ourselves, on how we understand and deal with others. How we understand what and deal with others as well. So that is just to give a little bit of explanation as to the nature of mankind. We are different, and we must understand these differences. But you see, identity, our differences in identity, is a part and parcel of what? Of our ideology. Remember, with our ideology, you cannot separate ideology from identity. Like I said, ideology is what sets you apart in terms of your belief system, your point of view, how you perceive concepts, how you look at life, is what forms ideology. So these are the things that also was formed the identity as it is. People of different identities have different perception of the world. A Muslim thinks differently, looks at the world differently from a non-Muslim. What I like to know, you have to understand that as a Muslim, your perception of the world differs. It might be common grounds, like I said, because we are all humans. And the last one has created us with what? In the natural disposition, it's filter. So that filter is common. And that is why somebody in China will hate stealing, and somebody in Nigeria will hate stealing. It's not a filter, natural disposition. A Kafir hates stealing, a Muslim hates stealing. A Kafir hates oppression, a Muslim hates oppression. Okay, so these are natural common grounds that we cannot do away with. But there are some things that set us apart and make some difference. For example, Muslims that Allah allowed to take our visa, if they have a good. I have not created the words, Allah has not created between and mankind. The purpose of our existence is what? Is worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All that together. A non-Muslim, for example, a secularist or a liberal, a liberalist, you can call it that, a liberal person, or a communist does not see it that way because they have separated religion from other aspects of life. So when you look at every issue through the lens of religion, they don't do that. So you cannot compare. So you cannot say you want to adopt or you want to Islamize a way of, or a perception of life that is not Islamic. What is what I'm saying? So once you understand that we have differences of economics and physical identity, it helps you navigate through all these things. It makes you know where you're going. You know your own toilet, you know your own road that you're supposed to pass. So you're not believe another person's road. Because you know they don't stand it, because there's no way to reconcile it. Otherwise, you just give yourself a confusion. You might want to reconcile two parallels, two things that are what opposing. You make confusion. You will not be there, you will not be there. I hope you also know. We are Muslim. We want to reconcile purposeful with Islam. Let's give an example. Shall I put you down? You want to go and do yes, I go to Chester. They are doing today. We went to Chester. Started on the 21st or something. How do you want to reconcile something that is established upon taking what is due to Allah alone to other things? It is Sheikh. It's worshiping Allah alone. And Allah is the Lord and controller of all things. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But Allah is the Lord of all that exists. And there's nothing has power. Nothing controls anything in this life except Allah. No one has power over anything except Allah. Now when people are say Ayana is not a controls particular aspect of life. Ukula is not a controls over the life. Philippa Kiliman is not a controller of life. Ajay is not a brings wealth in your market. They strip Allah of what is due to Allah in law. You cannot reconcile two opposites. How can we know? So at the end of the day, you are contradicting yourself. At the end of the day, you don't have integrity. At the end of the day, you are not true to your belief. And when you say things about the matters of religion, people tend to say, yeah, actually, we specifically problem. But even in our daily interactions, we have a club, for example. You say, like that, I will give a club, the Jet Club, for example, those are for secondary school. Jet Club has objectives and aspirations. You have principles and you have goals. It differs from press club. It differs from different clubs in the secondary school. The same thing in university. Different clubs and faculties have different objectives. The objective of the these are new students, and they are what's that thing called again? The association, the student association. We have different objectives. Even they might be common ground. So you cannot be a law student. You don't want to apply principles that are known with engineering students. As a matter of fact, if you're an engineering student gathering, you know the difference when you find yourself in a law student gathering. It's natural. You understand? So you have to understand the differences. As a Muslim, there are things that are called the belief system that differ from the belief system of non-Muslim. Where if you want to marry the two by force, you're going to end up without integrity. You're going to end up like one of our lecturers. Whenever I see people, because of program, I think there's a guy now. Used to teach us more transaction like commercial law. Because there's a word in course of people that sign their products, or people that want to be Western, I want to be an American. We call them abandoned children of the West. Interesting definition. We call them what? Abandoned children of the West. How? Because they're either you're not fully anymore, or they're not. You're not identity anymore. You don't have what makes you a Yoruba person. The core beliefs of the Yoruba person, you don't have it. And you're not a Westerner, you're not a Westerner. So you're not fully a Westerner and you're not fully a Yoruba. Why? Because you found yourself, there's a clash of identity. There's a clash of civilization. And that's the reality of it. If you don't hold on to identity, you're going to get lost in the world. And people that hold these things there, they will not welcome you. You might say different things, but truly they will not welcome you deep down because they see that you're not one of them. You don't share the same core values. For example, you claim to be liberals. I'm a liberal Muslim, I'm a liberal Muslim. But you avoid some principles of liberalism. You pick and choose what favors you. Liberalism will destroy you. Those that do feminism, or that know that follow something talking about feminism. We have feminism with capital F, and we have feminism with small f. They are different because those with capital F believe those with small f are not feminists. You know, J.K. Rowling, the one that wrote, is Harry Potter? I mean, she's not wrote Harry Potter. There was a time she was cancelled by other feminists. Those feminists or foundational feminists or call it capital F. They saw her as a seller that she's not real feminist. Why? Because they believe that she does not put some principles of and she's speaking and choosing. Because she believes she doesn't believe in gender, all these gender ideologies. She doesn't believe in it. So they believe that they are very feminists. Like they are not liberal enough. So even amongst themselves, they will tell you that what they are not liberal enough, they are not communist enough, they are not democratic enough, because they are not upholding some ideologies. So as a Muslim, when you begin to pick and choose what favors your desires, they are not what being Muslim, because Allah said, "Who is simply kafir." Enter Islam for you. In Masalati or Muslim. وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. My living and my existence and my death is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I submit to my life as a Muslim. Why do you think I choose not to submit to others? Right? So another issue that is common, I'm giving examples that are relatable to us. The issue of Christmas or no Christmas. Whether a Muslim celebrate Christmas or no Christmas. Ordinarily, it's not a matter that should cause rancor amongst people, even amongst Muslims and non-Muslims, never mind amongst us Muslims. The issue of whether as a Muslim I want to celebrate Christmas or not, it shouldn't cause fights because there should be mutual respect for our Muslims. In a nutshell, the core principle of Christianity is that what? Even though it is debated, but you want to deep down, you know that it's invented, it's real. Which is Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, and God what? The Holy Spirit. That is a Christian doctrine. Only amongst the Christians there are what? Sects with respect to that. Some Christians don't believe in the Trinity. Some don't believe in it. So let's digress. It's a belief of the Christian that what? Jesus is what? Is God. Is 1/3 of divinity. Are you with me or not? That's the core foundational belief of Christianity, which is different from the core belief of a Muslim. Allah says, "Qul huwa Allahu ahad" is a direct interpretation or rebuttal of those that say what Allah is Thalithu Salat. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Ahad. Allah did not say wahid. Ahad. Ay la yatakazzab. The one and only. Alone. Allah is Samad. Allah is self-sufficient. As-Samad is what? Self what? Sufficient. Ay ilayhi yasmudu jami'u awahid al-nas. That is, our awahid al-khalq. Everybody's needs, all our needs, All our aspirations go back to one source to make it possible because it's the rock book. Not the rock book. Al-Khaliqu, Al-Khaliqu, Al-Raziqu, Al-Muhyi, Al-Mumitu, Al-Mudabbiru li kulli shay. That's the rock book. The one that controls all things. That is, Allah does not delegate the divine power of control to anyone. I hope you are with me now. Allah does not delegate what goes on in the world to someone else. Allah wa ma tasha'una illa an yasha Allah. Wallahu khalaqakum wa ma ta'malun. Allah has created all things and has decreed all that exists. This is the foundational belief of Muslim that we recite every day. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. And Allah is Mudabbiru bil Muslim in kulli shay of all that exists. لأنه كل ما سوى الله أعلم. Everything other than Allah is inside what? Alam. And that is what I'm concluding. So when somebody attributes this lordship to someone else, they tell us what? They will Lord and Savior. It's a different thing. That's what they are different. So as the Nasir know, what Christmas is based upon is what is different from my own ideology as a Muslim. Therefore, I do not want to celebrate it. The Apple fighter shouldn't cause harm or it's mutual respect. You don't have to say it fight it. I'm sorry. As a Muslim, I believe. Sure, you don't say I'm sorry. But to be polite, I say I'm sorry. As a Muslim, I believe that compromise does not necessarily mean being tolerant. You get what I'm saying now? Or should I say being tolerant should not lead towards compromise. When tolerance is being interpreted to make compromise, it's no more tolerance. I hope you understand. And this is for everybody. In the world that they are living in Nigeria, as a Muslim, you should not force a non-Muslim to compromise their religion. If they say, this is my way of life, as a Christian, I can't do this, respect it. That is tolerance. As a Christian, I can't do this, respect it. That is what? Tolerance. As a Muslim, I can't do this, and you respect it. That is tolerance. As a Muslim, this is what you have to do. As long as it does not lead to encroachment of your own rights, you should tolerate it. And that's why we have to learn to sit down. People don't want to tolerate it down. Hijab does nothing to them. And one that is wearing hijab, or our sisters are not wearing hijab, for example, it does nothing, it removes nothing from the Catholic, from non-Muslim. Nothing. Nothing except the fact that they don't like to see it. That was it. And that is why when you see tolerant Christians, they don't have problem with Muslim. They don't have problem. If you want to wear hijab, you should know. If you don't want to wear hijab, you should know. They don't have problem with it. In fact, you want to observe Salah, you tell you can go to the I will tell you, you should not pray there. Right? It is an intolerant person that fights against Islam. Because they are not forcing them to wear hijab. In fact, it is wrong for a Muslim to force a non-Muslim to wear hijab. You say like us, so you must wear hijab. That is not Sharia, it's like African. That is the meaning. Although there's a wrong interpretation of that African. People have interpreted that African. Don't correct people, don't say anything. Don't tell us anything is haram. That African. Don't judge. These are ideologies rooted in non-Islamic perception of life. As we are about to say. So, who is a Muslim? The Muslim identity. Who's a Muslim? From the sisters, who's a Muslim? Somebody tells us, sister, you don't have to stand up, just say it, let us say it. Who's a Muslim? Now, nobody's talking. But the sisters are doing so much. The voice is our, not your other man. And they don't want brothers to hear their voice. God allow me. If that is your intention, God allow me. Their intention. Who's a Muslim from the brothers? Brothers don't fall down. Who's a Muslim? Now, So apart from this person, all of you don't know who you are. That's really. So if a non-Muslim comes to you and asks you, you're a Muslim, what does it mean to be a Muslim? How do you answer? That's the question. I'm just looking at the side and use the school. You know the answer, but you don't want to talk. No matter how in school, the answers of this, you don't want to talk because either we are feeling in your now. How is it not working in class? You got an answer. Or I shouldn't talk. Which is it? Are you not to put it? For you to know who you are as a Muslim, you have to know what is Islam in the first place. What is Islam? You can't tell what Islam is. What in Arabic or English? I'm giving you a school. Sometimes when you ask what is Islam, they know it's what? What is Islam? No, I want to have this. Okay, get the word, fill them in the word now.
So, Islam is the submission
to the will of Allah. Islam is the submission to the will of Allah. All these are answers that if you read our social studies books and the books we learn Islamic studies, that's the answer they will give. Which is true. But it may not be as a compassionate revelation of the kingdom of what scholars in the book. Take it from verse 1. You can see the verses. And there are more than 20 verses. And inshallah, we're going to do together. We're doing book study session now. Everybody, we have a full year. We have our food and we have Quran and our Muslim, and there is a Quran and our food. Our applications. A Muslim, to be a Muslim, you have to know how Islam is. What is Islam? Islam is Islam is the religion of what? Of peace. Yes, Islam is the religion of peace. It's a religion of what? Of peace. But it is not limited to that religion. Because life as we know it is not always peaceful. We are being realistic here. I want us to be as realistic as possible. That is how we are going to be able to navigate through the purposeful of those I want to call, they want to name the Lord among people. Or a gradual of me. Are you with me now? People that want to bamboozle you as a Muslim, they will bring victories. That once you start taking into those victories, you realize there is shallowness of such victories. Islam is a religion of peace, yes. But that's not an aspect of Islam. Because life is not only about what, it's not always peaceful. There are some times that there is war, and everybody knows it. Every civilization knows this. So Islam has guidelines, right, in terms of what? Instability, in times of chaos, in times of war, what you must do at all times. So Islam is a religion of peace, is a religion of justice. It's a religion of what? Justice. Sometimes to attain justice, it has to come to what? Violence. When I mean violence, thrashing somebody is violence. Capital punishment is what? It's a bit of violence. And thankfully, I saw little. Somebody can come and call a dialogue. Right. God cannot always be pacific all the time. And everybody that preaches pacifism at all time, not pacifism, and peace, slap one hand and turn the other cheek. Is an unrealistic doctrine. Because they don't do themselves. They want to slap you, turn to what? If there was a law like that, it was contextual. It was a particular time, a particular scenario. But they say the God not just called to when they slap them in cheek, don't to the left. There was a time they did that to Muslims as well. In Mecca, where we already people was turned to the other cheek. So it is contextual. When we're in the same way, they are weak. Like if you fight back, it's going to cost more harm. When they kill Somalia, I'm not the family of Nasir. When they kill the Muslim, they don't fight back. They were saying what? When they punish Bilal, when they boycotted them and did not give them food, and they did not allow them to sell to them. Look at the Zulu. They did not give them food, they did not allow them to sell to them. They restricted the Muslims. They wanted to exterminate them in Makkah at the time. The Muslims did not take weapons now. They more or less turned left cheek towards it. Why? Because of the situation at the time. So it's not all situation that you turn what? Left cheek. Die. You lose both cheeks. You don't really turn again. So there are sometimes you have to fight back. And they too do know this. And it's the reason why they have to say it. Because they don't want to turn the left cheek. It's the reason why they colonize people. It is the reason why there was Spanish Inquisition. There was the Papal Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition. It's the reason why wars were fought over time. Because you can't always speak words election. That is the way of this people. That is the way of this life. It will be foolhardy of you. Somebody comes to us for attack to take your land. We not say, I want to turn the election. Yeah. There are some people that are existential threats. We have to what? Warrior. I go to now. Because in Muslim, Islam, religion of peace, yes, it's also religion of what? Justice. And Allah has created iron, hadith, metal, to what? To establish justice around. And that's created what? The metal, hadith, to establish what? Justice on land. Sword are created from what? Metal. Guns are created on what? Metal. So the literally created swords and taught mankind how to use metal, to manipulate metal, to form what? Armor. To become armor for you, to protect yourself against what? And the marauding enemy. Are you with me now? Because the prophet of Allah, and that taught the art of war was the prophets of Allah, and then all the things you know in this life now, they are now branch of our talk. What is the time? 41 minutes. All the things you know in the world now were taught through the prophets. How to use pen, it was the prophets of Allah. How to manipulate iron, prophets of Allah. How to build ships, prophets of Allah. All the knowledge that we now use, that we have advanced, learning to build computers. The first people to have it were the prophets of Allah, who built the ark. When they saw the ark, what is one doing? They called him a fool. Who told him to build it? Also, Allah told Nuh to build the ark. Sana'at al-Abusi, who did you teach? Dawood, Idris, Adam, to write with what? This was the first person to write on sand. Later, it developed using what? All those ancient pen. Feather and dip it into blood of animal. Are you with me? Before you know it, they stopped using blood of animal. Started using what? So what? Stop now. Started using ink, I mean. Before you know, we don't use it anymore. Now using computers. You have to nobody knows where anymore, sir. Nice computers. Computers started somewhere. Computers we see today, the knowledge started from somewhere. 1 and 2 becomes what? 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Later, knowledge of 1 plus 1 can be 11. I don't know us. If they are variables, others can be what? 11. Then equations. Who taught mankind these things? علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. See Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Imam Shafi'i said in Al-Faysol, he said, do not be deceived by the knowledge of different ideologies. When they have elements of truth in them, don't be carried away by it. So whatever they are saying that has element of truth, they were taken from what? From the lens of what prophet. But Allah sent mankind prophets to mankind to teach them about this dunya. Who taught mankind how to bury? How to bury the dead? Allah. Allah sent out what? A bird. What kind of bird? How to go? Crow. And crow are very intelligent ones. Very, very intelligent. Very intelligent. Allah sent the crow to teach us how to bury. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So whatever knowledge you have today, that means you get lost. Because they have knowledge. Because they are a tech brother. And we are a tech sister. We are very, very artistic in your writing. You have English is very technical. Not like my own English like this. Everybody is speaking this to you. You drop all your money. You're there to drop into the fire, you drop. They are so eloquent. So it gets into their head. And cases that they believe they are very knowledgeable. That's why we see most people are amongst the youth today. It is very rare for you to see a dead boy or that one dirty ideology. So they believe they are smarter than the rest because they are intelligent. So all your intelligence, who gave you? Allah. Allah al-Insana. Allah inna al-Insana. But when you have that Abdullah, you say what? I don't need Allah anymore. Ar-Ra'ahu Salam. That's the meaning. Allah said, Inna ila rabbika rujaa. That's what it is. It's going to come back to Allah. Innaka katibun ila rabbika katiban faqda. All your efforts, all your tatawurats, all your developments, if you like go to Mars, if you like go to Jupiter, and the ones we don't know yet, we don't know their names yet, go there and come back. Innaka katibun ila rabbika. They're still going to come back from Allah right now. That is inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi ibad. Inna lillahi ibad. We are servants of Allah, still of Allah. Wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I'm going to go back to Allah. That is really. No matter what you do, we are wrong because yawma idhin al-masā. Everybody's directions, you know. Like أنهم لا تسلموا في يوم. يوم يخرجون أجداد الزراعة كأنهم لا تسلموا في يوم. Everybody will go out. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter what you do. So as a Muslim, because of time, Islam means al-Islam in point of scholarship. الاستسلام لله بالتوحيد والانقياد له بالطاعه والبراءة او الخلوص من الشرك واهله. الاستسلام لله. Shall questions you? But people are just looking at you as if our brains are magnetic, right? We are taking everything. So take notes for future references. For future references, we take notes. That's one of the reasons that's very important. The pen was taught to mankind to safeguard knowledge. Without the pen, this computer will not be here. Without the pen, the computer will not be here. Without the pen, the Quran as we read today might have been different. Without the pen, the Quran today might have been different. Because the fathers would have died. In fact, what led to the completion of the Quran in a book form was because the writers were dying. And they saw the need to write it down. So Allah preserved the Quran with his and with what? With God. And that's the secret of those that write the Quran. One of the ways to do the part of what the Quran is to write it down where you write it. Those who have written the Quran, they will write it where you are reading from the Quran. The way to arrange the Muslim. We have to write it when you continue to write the Quran. So the point here is what? Jot as a benefit to inshallah. I have a personal story about jotting down. It was beneficial to me in investing on a college area. When we were investing in Lagos, we used to go to our court. So I had a personal book, the book is still there at home. Inshallah, my junior will be at home. So with the jotting that was shared to give in the lecture, I used to jot it down. So when the lectures used to give in Yoruba, I was jotting down, I was saying to Arabic. My tata Arabic language. When I read my language, so I was considering what they were saying to Arabic, jotting it down. When I got to Sheikh College, first semester I was sick. So I came home, I did some classes. So I didn't jot some notes. It was the notes I was jotting like 2 years before of 15 class that I revised and used to write exam. If I didn't have those jottings, perhaps I would have worked as something to be important. So jotting is important. Take notes and tie down knowledge writing. As a Muslim is to submit, it's Islam the life in Tawheed, to submit to Allah in His divinity, in oneness. Tawheed has 3 branches that we all know. I mean, Uluhiyyah, that Allah is the Lord. Uluhiyyah, Allah is not a worship at all, nothing else, no one else. And with Asma'i wa Sifat, that is, nothing can be compared to Allah. Don't compare mankind to Allah, don't compare anything to Allah. The fact that Allah says He sees and you should you almost see like Allah sees. Allah sees all things. Allah hears all things. Whether the ones you say, the one you don't say, the one you more full under your breath, Allah hears everything. Innahu alimun bidhati sudur. Because you have knowledge, your knowledge like Allah's knowledge. So you cannot, you should not, and you cannot gauge Allah's knowledge with your knowledge. This point is very important. You should not gauge Allah's knowledge with your own limited knowledge. You are a human, you are defective. You are Allah's creation. So your knowledge cannot encompass Allah's what? Knowledge. Your sin cannot encompass what? Allah's sin. لا يدخل كرسيه ولا كان الله لا اله الا هو الحي القيوم لا تاخذه سنه ولا نوم. You sleep, Allah does not sleep. You doze, Allah does not doze. So there are some things you don't know why you are sleeping. So we are living there. And Allah's knowledge encompasses all things. So you know that this Islam is like Tawheed. Nothing can be compared to Allah. Allah worship alone. And Allah is the greater control of all things. وَلَيْكِيَبْ لَهُ بِالطَّاعَةِ. We obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. وَالْبَرَاءَةُ إِلَى الشِّرْكِ. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. You stay away from what? Shirk. Part of bara'at min ash-shirk is taken from every festival, but it's not the festival of what? Islam. I use to know. It's a matter of right. For benefit, the issue of, I'm saying this because it's what it's why we are here today. Bara'at min ash-shirk wa ahli is why we are here today. It's why your parents brought you here today. It's why you yourself to come here today. We don't be free from what is against of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And bara'at min ash-shirk wa ahli. Dissociation from ashirk, polytheism, or anything that contradicts tawheed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa ahlihi, and those who propagate it. That means you do not partake in that which is tantamount to kufr or shirk. So when as a Muslim, you actively participate in celebrating what is haram or what is kufr, you have not dissociated yourself from that act. So it doesn't mean, necessarily does not mean, or inherently does not mean hatred. In fact, I don't want to do what you are doing like it. It's a matter of principle. As a Muslim, must stand by your own what? Principle as a Muslim. You have to understand Surah Al-Fatiha. Surah Al-Fatiha is the basis of the as a Muslim. And that's why it's declared every day. It's like a pledge. As a Nigerian, we read anthem and what? They've changed our answer a bit. I mean, they've reminded people what it was. What is the beginning again? Nigeria, we hear it. Who knows it amongst us? Nobody knows. So you're not too Nigerian, you know.
You know it like.
You know it.
You know it.
So your pledge, our anthem is like an identity, right? And that is why in gatherings, official gatherings, they recite the pledge and the anthem. Is to revive, what let's say, is to entrench the spirit of Nigerianness in you at all times. That is the purpose of anthem. Let them stand up for anthem. They stand up, because they are pledging to Nigeria, their country. To be faithful, loyal, and honest. To serve Nigeria with all my strength. They are pledging. They are. Let's call it what? Authority. It's like you're taking an oath, brother. That this is the promise to do this for Nigeria. And that is why when you go against that objective, it may amount to treason or felony. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the degree of what to go against. Crime destabilizes the state. When police come and kill others, we are going against the fundamental objective of what? Of Nigeria, which is to preserve life and property. And that's why there is state, but crimes are always state versus individual. Because your crime is affecting what? The state. In a Muslim society, it's the same thing, or even stronger. So if they have capital punishment, I want to do correlation. If there is capital punishment for killing someone, Because killing somebody wrongly affects the fabric, the foundation of what? Society. It can lead to what? Insecurity and lead to disability in society. But if everybody keeps killing each other and there is no law stopping it, the society will become solitary, brutish, and what? Solitary, brutal, and what? Nasty. According to Adam Law. See Adam Law? Father of all of you are essentially the what? No government students. Society becomes solitary, brutish, and what's nasty. There will be lawlessness. So that's why it's always the state versus in crimes to preserve society, the community. The same thing in Islam. Like theft, zina, and the punishment, the crimes that carry the capital punishment in Sharia is to preserve the Islamic society, the foundation of society. So once they attack you, that all these are violent laws. So you have similar things now. So why is that attacking Islam for this? The same principle. So the crimes are just different. What you call a crime in different what you call a crime in Islam. But you have the same principle. We're talking about the principle now. You have it, we have it too. So why are you attacking Islam for it? I don't think you understand. You're not able to defend Islam if you allow people to bamboozle you from this aspect. You have the same principle in your own system of life, in your own belief system. So why are you attacking Islam for the same principle? So it's just the nomenclature that differs now. What you decide to call it, or what you decide to punish, or what you decide to punish. Okay, now you say Muslims are they don't tolerate differences. It's because of differences to you. They are touching on your own. There are some things you don't tolerate as well. You don't tolerate Muslims too. That's what you're talking about. You don't tolerate Islamic ideologies too. Because you believe Islamic ideologies are what? You contradict your own fundamental ideology. So that's why you attack Islam as well. So if you have freedom to attack Islam, the Muslim has freedom to attack ideology as well. You know what I'm saying? If you refute Islamic ideology, the same way Muslim has the right to refute what? Ideology and what? Anti-Islam. It's basic. Based on our mutual agreement society. So we are living in Nigeria, we have mutual agreement to live in peace and harmony. And the freedom of what? Proselytization, freedom of religion and association. So it means if you call to Shango, I have the right to call to Allah. This is what we are doing as social contract in Nigeria. Right? So it means if you propagate Christmas school, for example, as a Muslim, don't propagate Christmas as a Muslim, not as a Muslim now. You come out and say, United Christmas school, Muslim, now got Christmas. So Muslims say here, the same way the Muslim that sees it as wrong in Islam has the right to go out and say what? Don't see Islam. Do your own and do my own. What is wrong with that? Say don't say it again. So you are saying your own, so let me say my own. And we have mutual respect. So don't allow people to bully you in that aspect. We must maintain justice at all times. We must not transgress people's rights. Even in Islam. As long as what we have a binding contract, which we live in peace and harmony. So that you cannot take laws to us as a Muslim. Apart from self-defense. So because somebody says you will not wear hijab, doesn't mean you can't start beating them. You get what I'm saying now? Doesn't mean you can't start beating them, you must wear hijab. Unless you that they are kings in your hand, maybe your daughter. Transaction. Wear hijab. Based on Islamic guidelines, you and no Islam. You get what I'm saying now? So all these things you have to talk about. So Surah Al-Fatiha gives a foundation of what? Your identity as a Muslim. And that's why you said every day like a pledge. Because Surah Al-Fatiha is a summary of all that's in the Quran. All that which the Quran wants to cause you to call it to is in Surah Al-Fatiha. Which are three main things. The first one is what? The three main things the Quran wants to teach us. The words of Allah wants to teach us. The three main objectives. Or should I say themes of the Quran. Who can tell me please? You guys, many of you have embraced the Quran. And you read the Quran every day. So if somebody come and ask you, what is the Quran? What's the most of the Quran? How do you answer? What is the Quran? Why should I read the Quran? What does the Quran mean to achieve? Oh yeah. You see, the verses we said every day now. Alif Lam, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب هدى للمتقين. So you look at Surah Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin is discussing about Allah. The Lordship of Allah. The uluhiyya of Allah, that we should worship you. Alhamdulillah, Allah's Lordship. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Sifa, Asma wa Sifat. Malik Yawmiddin. Also, Rububiyyah. Allah's doing judgments. You don't worship Allah. Are you with me now? إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. You alone worship. That is, worship Allah, which was created for. Then he didn't surround the Mustaqim. Or إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Under it as well. Is that what? Allah's commandments now. إياك نعبد, let's obey you. Or إياك نستعين, what we seek, we seek from you. All of Allah's commandments we follow it. إياك نعبد. We obey Allah, worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إذن الصراط المستقيم. That's not our guidance. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Now we are asking Allah to guide you to the path of those who are successful. Those who follow the right path. Those who are our hereafter. And that is what the Quran touches again. Another verse of the Quran. Telling us about previous nations. What made them go astray. And how to want to save yourself from it. I hope you're with me now. So that is the three things. Worshipping Allah, our interaction with Allah, and what? The end of those who worship Allah and those who tell us to worship Allah. That's the Quran. So when you read a verse, look at these three things in the Quran. Is that describing Allah? It's talking about Allah. Or he's telling you what you're supposed to do as a servant of Allah. Or he's telling you the end and Al-Qiyamah. These are the three aspects, the three major things of the Quran. So when the laws of transaction, the laws of such and such in the Quran, they are teaching you how to interact with the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is you on you as a believer? As a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is Surah Al-Fatiha. Now, let's go to Surah Al-Shura. Let's go to Surah Al-Shura. I want you to open your Quran. Go to Surah Al-Shura. So we'll go across it together. Surah Al-Shura. Are you there? Verse 13 to 15. Okay,
Now,
verse 13 to 15. Are you there? We are there. I'm not there. Page 484. Page 484. Verse 13 to 15. Because of time. شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى. أيوة وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه كبر على المشركين ما تدعوهم إليه الله يجتبي إليه من يشاء ويهدي إليه من ينيب. Afterwards, وما تفرقوا إلا من بعد ما جاءهم العلم بغيا بينهم ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك إلى أجل مسمى لقضي بينهم وإن الذين أورثوا الكتاب من بعدهم في شك منه مريب. فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب وأمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم ولنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم لا حجة بيننا وبينهم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير. I added the first two verses to give us context. But the point of reference under is the last verse, the verse 15 already. This thing is what the prophets have been reading. Are you with me now? شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به إبراهيم. Is that Ibrahim Hanifiyya? Worship Allah alone. Worship Allah alone. And obey Allah, follow the commandment of the prophets of Allah. The same thing Musa called to. The same thing Isa called to. All the prophets of Allah. That's what they were called. That's what they called. But people want America after this knowledge came to them. Because they followed their desires. They left the paths of the prophets. So every ideology today that you see, there is not Islamic ideology. It's a deviation from what Allah wants us to do. That's the first thing you should know. Are you with me now? Every ideology that goes against the Islamic principles of life as a Muslim is a deviation from what Allah wants. So what you understand is, it guides you towards how you interact with such ideologies. It's not everything you bring that you take. I hope you are with me now. Once you know that everything that goes against the Sharia of Allah is an invented ideology due to the deviation of man. All of them as founders now. I mean, one sitting and people confusing. It has the components. Liberalism has its fathers. Communism has its fathers. Feminism has what? The founders. All of these ideologies have their founders. The only thing that is found by Allah is the religion of what? Of the prophets. And that is Islam. That is the first thing. So you know that these things are falling to the favor of Allah wants for us. So it guides on how to interact with it. So no matter the ism, from tomorrow another ism will come. Tomorrow, those ones that we have today, feminism is not 200 years old. Are you with me now? Communism is not up to 500 years in the ground, not mistaken. Liberalism is the same way. It's not 300 years old. It's after the French Revolution of the 19th century. The 18th to 19th century was started over time. All these are what they are modern, contemporary ideologies that we see today. They are all what invention of man. And that is why if they want you to believe Islam, they tell you one thing. I want you to use what they use what Islam is an religion is an invention of what? Of man. So what they establish that religion is an invention of man. It's easy for you to do what the man invented. But it's not the invention of what? Of man. Allah is one that legislated Islam. It's the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And mankind deviated from it, which is what gave us different technologies. So Allah calls us now, which is against the Muslim. فَلِذَلِكَ فَلْيُؤْمِنُوا. It is the religion of Allah. The guidance of Allah is to call to. Are you with me, guys? It is the guidance of Allah that you call to. The religion of Allah without diluting, without taking and removing as you desire. Come to it the way Allah has legislated it. Fastaqim and be upright. Kama umirt and have been commanded. As a Muslim in today's world, you should stay with Islam within the thing said by Allah and His prophets. Kama umirt, as have been commanded. وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاهُمْ. Do not follow the desires of those who want to take you from Islam. Okay. Do not follow the desires of those who want to take you from what? From Islam. It also means do not copy. When you read the tafsir or the explanation of this verse, based on what scholars explained, you understand the fact that the Tebet does not mean just like following in terms of follow. Also imitation. Do not imitate the kuffar. in their ways of antagonizing the truth, do not be like them. In their ways of following their desires, do not be like them. The fact that they use a particular means to destroy their own religion, do not employ the same tactics. That's why they want to liberalize Islam. Yeah, I'm a Muslim, but right? That goes against the foundation of Islam because it goes to be different. I'm liberal. Do not do not copy them. They need to follow and to imitate. Do not imitate them in that is peculiar to their belief system, peculiar to their religion. Different Asha. I'll use February was I will see today. Call out culture or cancel culture. The way it is practiced. It's foreign to Islam. Expose people's secrets. People commit in private. You don't read about it. You have option where we are looking for Elon Musk money. Because they have boutique. Or because you know where's violence today. This is violence other for and let's see that way. This is just telling you. Wallahi, it's against Islamic principle. Don't expose people's secrets. You see, their neighbors are fighting you. Neighbors are fighting. You are living in Sokoto. They are not person living in Lagos. Because their neighbor is fighting. Or they are fighting. One person doesn't go and bring the story of their neighbor on social media. As a giver. It is giver. It's backbiting. We are exposing somebody's secrets to the whole world. It's not even one person. One give out to one person is bad in itself. Say you see something about someone, but when you say it about that person will not like it. Even though it's truth. You know, because you have the secret in your hand. You don't want this to tell me that person out. You keep the secret in your hand. You don't want this to tell me that person out. You keep the what's the reason why are you telling you? You feel open. Why are you telling that person to be lost? What do you want to achieve by that? Are you trying to say, okay, please don't go and preach to him or not? If it is for you to go and preach to him, good. So I have tried. This person doesn't preach to me. It's not preach to me. It's any thought to me. This is fine. But you're just saying something, you don't tell somebody. That's his guy, That's his guy. So the boys used to talk to our class. Different boys used to come and guide Shama for after. You know, take them to bother me or come and Shama. What's your business? What's the point of telling? I'm using this pedestrian example to understand why you have to understand your idea as a Muslim, what you should do as a Muslim. That kind of culture is not Islamic culture. To expose Muslims. Your brother in Islam commits a sin, and you know it's a sin. And the first thing you do is not put on social media. Sorry, I cancel it. That's not Islamic civilization. That's not Islamic way of living. The first thing to do is to advise them is simple. Accept to consider faults. So these are ways of life that have simply into our unconsciousness as Muslims. Very honestly. So, but I can tell you our even in your debate in religion, when you are defending Islam, do not come to the Kufar the way they debate about their religion, when the way they defend their religion, when the way they refute other religions. I hope they will see. They will say different lies to propagate their religion. If it does not behave a Muslim, a cleric now come and say, the person way, and have it cook, say it Malu, Maria Mayawe, he said lie and lying. And I can die. So because we want to propagate Islam, does not mean you should lie. We don't like to propagate Islam. It's not an Islamic way of life propagate Islam. We don't do that. Another they attack Muslims saying, I do Taqiyya. I do Taqiyya. Tell them we don't do it. Sunnis don't do Taqiyya. Or Taqiyya. We don't do it. It's not a principle in Islam. So to deceive people to accept Islam. No. There are sometimes you hide your Islam to be safe from harm. Right? but you don't lie to come to Islam. You don't deceive to come to Islam. For example, you cannot say, because I only person to like music, I usually pretend as a Christian. Or let me pretend as if me too, I like these things. What I should don't like, me too, I take alcohol. Now say it's Sharia. There is nothing like Islam. No, you don't do that. You start you preach, then every what you do, and that's fine. That's it, fine. You don't put that's not deep. You know what I'm saying now? So another way that happens, or another picture for that is how people, when they are talking about Islam, maybe they are insulting Muslims. Say all Muslims are terrorists. You two now want to fight back. You are now attributing what is not true to Christianity. Just because you want to attack them, but they are no. We don't lie. We focus on that. What is true, we don't talk about. Because at the end of the day, it does not help the argument. It will fall flat on your face. So defend your religion with integrity at all times. You know where I push the word. Maintain integrity. That is Islam. That is who you are as a Muslim. وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. So people, you know, they will use them to forget their religion. They don't care. Muslims are the people who don't forget this. We cannot say because they want people to accept Islam, let's go and act film. So that husband and wife, strangers will be like husband and wife. So you want to do Islamic movie. What's Islamic movie? Unfortunately, people do that today. They follow that part of life. Islamic music. Yeah, let's do Islamic music. You now can turn a generic song. Let's say the video or which one of them. We now can change the lyrics and turn it to Islamic, say Islamic what? Song. This is again what they tell our. You don't follow something that is against Islamic principles to preach Islam. Because now you know what happens. Even when people accept Islam through their means, and you continue to push them on that, superficial aspect of Islam, it lacks substance. It lacks what? Substance. Because it's superficial. Once that's euphoria, once it goes, it will go with Islam. Everybody that accepts Islam superficially, if he does not upgrade himself and learn proper Islam, he's going to go superficially. And we've seen it in some celebrities. And they accept Islam because of some things. And they refuse to want to enter Islam. What do you do? It's still be careful. People are saying, Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya. I'm amazing. That's what you are talking about. All your existence is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means everything is secondary. You want to become an engineer? Yes. Become an engineer, but don't let it affect your words, the submission to Allah. Want to become a nurse, a doctor, a tech pro. Be that, but not affect what? The submission to Allah. وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ وَقُلْ, that is profess Islam. آمَنْتُ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ. I follow the Quran, the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and his Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for their good revelations. وَأُمِرْتُ لِأَعْدِلَ بَيْنَهُمْ. See, before that I'm a Muslim, we're a Christian, we're a Jew, we're a pagan, we never leave you what to do? Injustice. That is the meaning. أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أَعْدِلَ بَيْنَهُمْ. I've been commanded to establish the law of Allah amongst us. It's justice. It also means anything that goes against the law of Allah is not justice. The society will compare it to it. There are some things in the world today where we are, because it's not Sharia that we practice, but it's deemed as justice. But in the scale of Islam, it is not justice. It can be for and it can be against. Let me give an example of for. Inheritance, for example. They say we have to use an Islamic way to share inheritance. What does mean? You have to a Muslim, person is a Muslim. They not give you a share of inheritance that is more than what you are supposed to get to Sharia. You return it to. Yes, you return it. If it's more than the share you get in Sharia, but it's not your own. Or you have a single thought or a single case between you and someone else. When it is a criminal case, they now give you the compensation. But the compensation is more than what you're supposed to get in Sharia, and the damages they pay for. It's not what it's due to you. You have to return it. Let's say you just destroy somebody's car. So you now judge that they have to pay damages. The car that is 2 million, that's has to pay them the damages. Because your lawyer is good and they argue in your favor. You now won that case. You now pay multiple damages, and what is more than excessive. You take what is due to the car that they damage, and whatever they have damaged again, it is the worth that you take. And return back what is not due to you. So it can be for the case. So what people think just when it's a case. It can be for you. When a judgment is passed for you, that is more than what you're supposed to get in Sharia, you return what is not due to you. And vice versa. I want you to go again, a lot of time. Go through this surahs for this chapter that is on the screen. Surah Al-An'am, verse 161 and 164. Very instructive as well. For their foundation of the Muslim identity. The Surah Al-Zariyat. Allah cannot to reject them. By the days, your purpose in this life is to worship Allah. ما أريد منهم فما أريد أن يطيعون. The purpose of that part is like a target. Do not let your dunya, because you want the dunya, stop from what? Worshiping Allah. Do not let dunya ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر. So you let takathur, your mutual competition. That person, your neighbor now just renovated their house. This that new ceiling. Because you two now, we are humans, we tend to complete. Subconsciously, your house not being fine. You want to modernize your own house too. You start looking for money, right? The fact that you are looking for money should not lead you to haram. Your classmate is driving car, is in year 3 like you, and he's not using, he must use a small car now, he's using Tesla. His father is rich. His father is Dangote, or someone that is very, very rich. He now buys car for him. Now, if you want to compare yourself to the father, Hassan the Sheikh of Rock Pizza. So, we think of ourselves, that's not forgiveness. So the fact that a person is rich, he has bought the car, a new kind of car, he just got in China, a share for $60. How much is that? $60 in there. That's about 75,000. Okay. No, about 90,000 here. About 90,000. You should have to wear shirt of 90,000. You know why your pocket money is 20,000. Before you know, start playing about your book. You have to know bets. Nobody see you. Because you want to live up a competition that you're innocent. You sent yourself. So as a Muslim, أمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم. You have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all of your affairs. Because the risk that you are fighting over or you are chasing should not stop from worshiping Allah. You should not degrade you from worshiping what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then, once you know your identity as a Muslim and Islamic ideology, which is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the foundation of the Muslim identity, whatever you do is to worship Allah. It means al-ihsan, muraqabatullahi fi sirri wal alaniyah. You are conscious of Allah in the open and in secret. In all your affairs. That is Islam. Foundation of Islam. What does Allah say in this aspect? I want to get married. What ideology we are following? Is it the liberal ideology of marriage? Is it the feministic ideology of marriage? You know, I'll give you examples. A man is telling a woman 50-50. What are you bringing to the table? It's not Islamic ideology. It's common on social media. Those are the boyfriend, girlfriend, among themselves. They'll tell you, what are you bringing to the table? She doesn't show. Then even in marriage, you know of people that their marriage are broken because the husband see that the man was working. He was sharing 50. What do you think is very Islamic ideology of marriage? And we just go other Nisa. Men are to provide for women. It's that. Our money is our money. I'm putting a very expression. As a Muslim boy, that is you that you say want to get married now. As a Muslim man, so you are already prepared to get married. You should know that 50-50 is not Islamic ideology. You are forcing your wife to provide at home. You are committing a sin. It's a sin. You are not fulfilling your duties that Allah has put on your neck. You have to clothe her, feed her, secure her as much as you can. And I'm going to put this customary good wherever you are doing. Also, a woman demanding beyond what Allah has allowed because they are feminists. They are not setting boundaries that Allah did not set between you and your husband. In terms of what country rights, for example. This around this one, we talk about marital, individual what marital. All these are definitions that every Christianity, they don't like marital. You want to go like religion, Abrahamic religion, there's person like what? Marital. When you have to understand what do you mean by marital. So they will tell you that if the husband tells the wife, let's do sunnah, she now says, no, I don't want to do sunnah. The man has no right to force her to do it. And he cannot enforce himself to do it. Once he does that, it's late. Some people say, no, I'm not doing today. He does not do it. Are you with me now? He does not what? Marital. Some have expanded it to me or extended it to me that even when you have started, you now said, stop. Or no, I'm not doing it again, I must stop. Even if you have not reached your destination, you must align it. Are you with me now? So once you continue in what you forget all this word as well, rape inside the marriage, it's rape inside the marriage. All these are feminist people. Ideologies that the woman can hold on to and affect their marriage. So the same way a man can transgress red pill masculinity, toxic masculinity, as we call it, and you're not treating your wife as a slave. That's not the question about it. I know some people that said, once it's 8 o'clock, oh, my wife won't go to my house. Once it's 8 o'clock at night, and once she does it, command them. What also? You must put up all the lights in the house. It's like going to school. Once you put up the light, everybody must sleep. No more talking. No matter the situation. This is not washing. Live with them with kindness. So, any of this against Islamic guidance, whether it's both male or it's from male side or from female side, we've gone against the ideology of Islam. So, it's not upside. Sharia is not upside. It protects everyone. So you now wonder, all these modern ideologies, where are they from? What is the source? Why? Let's go to Surah Al-A'raf verse 16. Surah Al-A'raf verse 16. Are you there? I want you to be bombarding these verses. Verse 16. Oh yeah. What does it say? أغويتني لأقولن لهم صراطك
مستقيم.
الشيطان. The source of all ideology is what? Shaitan. What is that? The source of all ideology is what? Shaitan. To mislead mankind. To what? And that is why we bring in us Siratan Mustaqim, the right path. Because there are so many paths. But Allah may Allah guide us what? To the right path. Surah Al-Nisa verse 89, what does it say? Surah Al-Nisa verse 89, what does it say? I'm right there. What do لا تكفرون كما كفروا وتكونون سواء. All these ideas don't get to me. A brief history, but you understand where this verse is very short. The issue of what ideology is not Islam. It's from Christianity. Due to some things, historical events that led to the born to the creation of what ideology. So now that they've succeeded in their own religion, they want the same thing for you. What do they love? That what you disbelieve as they have what disbelieve. So I can feel the same thing. Surah Al-Nisa, verse 44. Nisa, verse 44, are you there? لم تر إلى الذين أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب يشترون الضلالة and they themselves are not about this guidance for themselves. They use their what? Their social, mental, and financial capital to buy what? Misguidance. When you do that, and they didn't say the fact that they are pushing Islamic communities is for usually what? You also miss a way. So that's why you find agents of Islamic liberalism, Islamic feminism, Islamic isms, Islamic capitalism. How can you have two opposites? Are we together now? So talk about verse 32. Talk about verse 32. Let's go there. يريدون أن يتموا. They want to dim the light of all these ideologies. But in two objectives. Because of time, you must not to stop our journey. Because the ultimate objective, as you can share your screen, the ultimate objective is to limit the influence of religion in our lives, or to eradicate completely. That will tell you, put your religion outside when you put your shoes. That will tell you, don't bring religion here. But it's impossible for a Muslim. You cannot leave your religion out of anything as a Muslim. Whatever you can, Allah guides you all your affairs. You want to transact business, you cannot hit Allah, you cannot hit riba, you cannot consume God, you cannot cheat somebody because Allah tells you so. You want to get married because Allah has guidance. At your work, your obligation to your employee, because of Allah's guidance, Allah will ask you, are you just or not? You fulfilling your obligation or not? The work that you are doing in nature, is it haram in itself or not? So there's nothing you do in life that Allah has not given you a clear guidance to follow. That is Islam. See, behind the Kulli Sheikh is guidance for all things. The one that you see, the one that you read all time, not all time. It's guidance in all of their affairs. So there's nothing they want to say that Islam does not have this skill. Is it politics? There's guidance how to play politics. You don't play as a Muslim, you're a politician. You enter into politics as a Muslim. There are some things you must not do. You can't say you know politics, the end justifies the means. They don't get in Islam. The end doesn't justify the means. You cannot kill someone because of the become president, because of the truth to everybody, and let's kill that person. You will pay for the guy that you killed now. You cannot consume river at the expense of others. They say because you want to do the road, you want to do let's consume river. Yeah. So everybody you oppress in your way to want to not do good. The good that you do, you may get the reward, but you have to pay for those people that you oppress. So you cannot say because you want to be a politician, let's invest in propaganda. Start lying. Propaganda is of another meaning because the shape is here. That is true. Propaganda has no types. False propaganda. Is it propaganda where you are just protecting Islam, pushing Islamic content out? It's not propaganda. Islamic content. Whereas the propaganda is outside lines. You just put rumor out there just because you want to tarnish the image of your opponent. That's like Islamic politics. Who do you do that? That's why sometimes it's hard to meet the because of the world. Because there is no principle guiding them. Because why? The end justify the means. It's not that very Muslim. So the ultimate objective of all these ideologies is because we want to limit or eradicate religion from life. That's secularism, liberalism, no, existentialism, don't bring religion. Everything just take put aside. And there's a reason for that. Why is there so of all the ideology hate religion? Why do they hate religion? How many minutes more? Why do they hate religion? Why so much everything? You have to go back to it. Like we said, all these things come from what? From the Christian law. Communism, secularism. It's from the Christian. Due to the excesses, as the answer explained. First is discussion of Christianity. The Christianity that Jesus, Isa, alayhi salam, was discussed. When the Romans, in Constantinople, they accepted Christianity. It's not because they didn't accept it because they fear Allah, for purely theological reasons. They accepted it for political reasons. It's not like the masses, the poor people are likely to accept the truth before, and that is sooner of Allah. And when you do your sorry, Atalamuna and sorry, condescendingly, you know what? People are believing in knowledge. Somebody has said it's amongst this word. The father, the Muslim. Somebody was having a meeting with him. Now, you got to kill him. You know what he said to that person? He started playing at the Roja. What did he do with him? Because it was time for Salah. So they feel the people that poor people are not sense. You see it on social media, people saying it. Okay, look at them. All these religious, not that they don't get sense. You know, attributes religiosity to being what? Simple-minded. So once you are sophisticated, you will not be a Muslim. That's from Shaitan, that's Shaitan's way. Shaitan tries to what? Undermine all that is good and crucify all that is evil. And they do that over them. The reason Allah does not want you to eat from this place is because it's making it forever and rich. In our God, what is what? You crucify what is wrong for them. They want children. They want male. They say that what? We should not have what? Female. And they are doing to Allah. They always want this upside down. When Allah told them not to eat dead animal, what did they say? Dead animal, wow. If a dead animal is Allah that killed it, and you, the animal that you slaughter, is you that killed it. So why are you eating what you eat with your hand? You want to do Allah killed his hand. What Allah has killed himself. So that's Shaitan. And that's the Sheikh. So they will undermine the reality, they will turn it upside down. So they distorted the religion. Now they accepted Christianity for political reasons. God wanted to control the masses. And that is why they imported paganic doctrines into Christianity. And that is the breath of the Trinity. That is Salat. It was invented. Are you with me now? And these are documented. Also, the leaders at the time, the papists, they had excesses, both spiritual, mental, and political. Literally says that they give themselves sacredness, and they cannot be what? They cannot refuse them. Whatever they say is the law. That's spiritual laws and oppression. The mental oppression, don't think with your brain. And that's why they call Galileo. Anybody that brought not talking about gravity, or the earth is round, or the earth is flat, all those issues. It was scientists against the church. So the church was oppressed mentally and intellectually. So anything that goes against or that would undermine the power that the church had at the time, so what especially it was shut down. And that's why they shut down the frontiers of knowledge at the time. Don't make scientific research. They imprisoned scholars because they went against what the foundation of their supremacy, or their control. Also, they imposed some financial instruments that were too difficult of the people. For example, the tithe, like the ecclesiastical tithe. Tithe was not originally a doctrine. It was introduced 1/10. So no matter what you had, even till today, one woman, her husband went to Spain through Libya. You know the stress to go to Spain through Libya. During when it was still, that was about 10 years ago. That's when 2015. The aftermath of that Gaddafi, just 3 years after Gaddafi was, you know the struggle you used to go over there. And the first thing he said that was Samsung. I think it was S7 or so. Samsung S7. And the first thing this person was going to use their passport. Right? That's their belief. That is their what? Belief. But that belief was introduced. In Islam, that is Zulm. I've had that tell you that by force, the first salary must be 10%. I've had it. Ọlọ́run kan fún mi ní ṣùrùt fún zakat bí bá ti lówó lébì kan ní tó bá sì pọ̀ lébì kan fún 1 year. That's and that's wrong well. Then you are fine and tell me I should bring 10%. Are you a lawyer? Do you understand now? So it was oppressive. See today people still criticize it. I'm not Muslim. I'm telling you the history of what led to this. I'm not telling their religion. These are the doctrines that led to revolt, both intellectual and physical revolt. So also scandals in monasticism, where boys were being raped. They were practicing what? Robbery. That is nobody. It's against the Sunnah of Allah. It's against nature. That's a man. As an able-bodied man. You now say, you want to dedicate your body to Allah. You want to follow any. It is biology. There are times your testosterone will rise. There's a reason why you wake up every time you have morning mood. It is what? It is the Sunnah of Allah. It is for a purpose. Everything you have in your body is for a purpose. You cannot say want to deny it. And that's why Romania said the basic number of Islam. And that is why they were what? They were abusing people under their care, both male and female. Which is what there's going to work. Because how can you be claiming sacredness and you're still doing this kind of thing? So they became disillusioned in religion that they were exposed to. So they brought up what is called ideologies. The doctrine of what conversion. It became a transaction. which the aspect of convention, that convention, Catholic convention, is during the Gurus of India, at least the Crusades. Go and commit whatever. The Crusaders know what they did in Islamic world, and even in Europe. You see in history what they did. It's not a Muslim history, even their history, what the Crusaders did. And they were giving leeway to do that. So once you do it, come and do conversion, come and tell Father, I have sinned. Go and sin no more. Go and do another one and come back. This way, that is the asking. Do you understand? So that was the asking. So they knew these things. Some people would say, no, this thing cannot do. Because we have fitra. And that's like I mentioned earlier, there's fitra. Anybody with natural disposition knows that these things are wrong. How can you say, and some Muslims have adopted today, and they're actually on the love me, and that's like some of our criminals, higher criminals are their own clients. People that spread corruption online. Because they will tell them, actually, I'm the love me, I'm a good believer, I will not my directive. It's against Islamic doctrine. Anybody with sense will not believe that. And that's why some Muslims today are leaving Islam because they see what their affairs are doing. When Afar is romancing a criminal, Afar is making dua for the that stole money. You not believe someone is not positioned about Islam, they will leave Islam. You say, how can you be what? Supposing the person has stolen money. And you claim they are an Afar. Yes, you know who Shimon in applied the position as well. And the option of that also is the Spanish position. That is, the church dominated all aspects of life. And they have they have courts set up to investigate, like CIA. You know that? Investigate people's privacy. Once they are doing anything that goes against the church, they will clamp down on it. What's that word again? Today's word, policing, monitoring. And there's a word for it. Policing, no, particular word. Then the church as a tool of federalism. What is federalism? Federalism, which is the government student? And what is the government in? You have government as students. They have someone yesterday, what is verb? Christmas party. What is the one like? What is verb? I was hearing. That was the reason. What is verb? So what is feudalism? Feudalism is let me break it down. Feudalism is a type of governance that where you have the king, which the king has lords. Those of you that will read historical books or what historical books. You have a king, then you have lords. So the king gives the Lord power, jurisdictions to control. Lord of this thing, Lord of Britain, Lord of Muslim, Lord of the North, Lord of the South. You know what I'm saying now? They are all under the ultimate king. Like ballet. So the Lord now has what knights. Knighthood. This is like so and so. So now he has authority. So those knights are like counselors, they have where then under those that do not have what the common man. So the common man are the workers. They pay fealty to these knights. The knights did not give it what to the Lord. The Lord did not give it what to the king. Then what was the king answering to? The judge. At the time. So they were controlling a brutal system that you will be paying every time. You will see it in all these historical movies. You just come to your, it's like the way all these people behave. It's the same, nothing is new in this world, just know that. Nothing is what? It's new. Shaitan is just deciding everything, different names. You see what Agbero is last time, it's controlling it. Who are those Agberos that are the lords? The ones collecting money are the knights. They're those who riding, unfortunately, they are the ones serving you. They are servants to the Agberos. Because those who are not prayers. For the room, from every money that you collect over there, they go and give it to Chairman. Chairman will not give it to the Sego and guys. They will not do party and call you. They will not call a file again. After you come and sit down, go and say, go, I think, now see when they're absent, you see mistakes. You not like what a file is calling to. Do you understand? So this is what give back to all the ideologies. He now won't give out to secularism. Feudalism, secularism, nihilism, individualism, all these things. They are what? They are invented to counter the church because of what the church supported. You know what I'm saying? Isaac is from the Western world. You didn't have them from all the deviations you have in Islam, all the Muslims you have in Islam is theological. It's not political, it's theological. You can have a thing of politics, but it's theological. And even the theologies they are taken from foreign ideologies. But you see this one, it was because of the excesses of the church. Starting from the foundation of how they accepted Christianity in Europe. European Christianity from what? Middle East Christianity. Even to now. It's different. People from where they worship. It's different. Their father will now have what? European Christianity now broke into Catholics and Protestants. But they don't see eye to eye. It's the history behind Celtic and Rangers in Scotland. We don't know what I know now. The Celtics and what? The Rangers. Two footballers, they don't see eye to eye. One is Catholic, the other one is Protestant. It's like war when they are playing football. You know what I'm saying now? So later, Protestants too, they broke into factions. Today we have Zionist Christianity. Zionist Christianity. Those ones, don't let us go here. You guys see that attacking. So, this is what gives us all these ideologies. For example, we have secularism. Secularism is detaching. And because of time, I got the name with it. I just put the retreat. So you can want research. You get what research. But before you make this academic history, study Islam first. Leave those things, leave all these things. Go and know Islam first. Once you know Islam to a comfortable level, you may start exploring how this is. Read Islamic scholars, how they've tackled these ideologies. Before you now do extensive research. So secularism is detaching the nutshell, detaching life, governance, public aspect of life away from what? Religion. Put your religion outside when you are coming here. And they don't put religion into politics. Don't be already this education. Why is it there? Why don't put religion to our faculty here? What is, and you said earlier, as a Muslim, it's impossible. All your affairs is what is guided by Allah and His Prophet. So anything that contradicts Islam, you don't treat as a Muslim. That's a personal decision. Don't let anybody know what you do. They tell you before you can have a promotion in our job, you have to remove your hijab. Leave that your work and look for something else. A boy was telling me day before yesterday, one brother in the school, another gentleman in the school. He said, just because there's a particular group, is a lawyer, is a law student, so they have an association. But I think they have an association anyway. And they wanted to shake him. The female wanted to shake him. The coordinator of the association wanted to shake him. And he said, I don't shake. Because of that, he lost out. They denied him. And it's brilliant. The way is brilliant. It's one of the best in class. But just because he said, I don't shake, they ostracize him. Because of that. How does me shaking affect what I want to do? It doesn't. Right? So I don't shake non-mahrams. That is, women that are not performing members. It's because of the reason Islam. It's the limit set of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like you can't touch a non-mahram as a video or as a female. It's for a purpose. It's not discrimination. So, secularism tends to detach everything about religion from our public life. Secularism basically is freedom, unbridled freedom without limits, which in truth is a lie. Because even themselves, they have limits. So it is the limit that follow their own desires. It's not the limit that Allah has set. So, like I said earlier on, all of these ideologies just want to detach religion from all what? From all things. So they say be free. That's the notion of it because of time. Democracy. Right? Democracy is a system of governance. Or just social engineering, people will say that. Democracy is a system of governance is sovereignty be in the hands of not Allah. Are we together now? That mankind is what makes laws. All that is not what Allah says, not Quran. That is why the constitution, which is not law, is not law. It's absolute. It's the rule of law. When Sharia, all Rasul is the what? Is the rule of law. Do you understand? So we say that, for example, that's why they say cannot the laws of Sinai. The capital aspect of Islamic law is not what they don't want it. Even some aspect of personal law, they don't want it. Because it goes against what they mankind have legislated. So they want to detach Allah, the law of Allah from governance. So they want to govern as they believe. So whatever the ideas tell them is what they do. So that is predominant. How a Muslim interact with such system? Scholars are giving guidance on this. Because now it's, how much in that it's almost impossible for it to give inside there is no democracy. So how do you interact? So it's a thing of the rule of necessity. So you interact it to the limit center, Sharia. You know what I'm saying now? So as a Muslim in a democratic society, we will leave the affairs of governance to them. It's impossible, it does not make sense. Everyone is calling to it is either the person is ignorant of the realities of age or is not aware enough yet. We cannot take governance in the hands of non-Muslims, though we have a good amount of Muslims existing. It does not make sense. Even if I were a Christian, I asked with that, I was to advise a Christian. I will not objective advice. I will not tell you to read the affairs of Muslims, affairs of governance that concerns the other Muslims. Objective advice now, people at the end of the day will tell that it is Islam that we live, or everybody will expect. But because they don't want Islam governance, that's just separating stories. How are you going to stories? And that is what democracy is. All these are tools to achieve that goal, of detaching Islam, religion from aspect of that. Due to the trauma that they suffered. Because if they're not being traumatic from what they suffered, or what the excess of it, we will not have all these ideas. The same thing communism. When the government wants to see what is in charge of all means of production and economy, no matter what, and that's the basic Islam. Islam gives rise to private ownership, as long as it does not affect the community as well, not to the detriment of the community. This is where capitalism goes against Islam. Islam gives rise to private ownership. As long as your private ownership and your means of production and amassing wealth is not at the detriment of what populace, and that's where capitalism comes in. So the next one is rationalism. Rationalism is subjective to our intellect. Like I said earlier, no matter how smart you are that creation. Allah knows more than you. Allah knows what you don't know. So you cannot subject the law of Allah, the decree of Allah, to your own rationality. I hope they are with me now. They are not rationalizing Allah's decree. So it does not make sense to you, I don't believe in it. That's the end goal of it. So it does not go against your intellect. How many times have you changed your opinion? Sometimes something will make sense to you. And after a while, it doesn't make sense anymore. You change your opinion. It shows us evidence of what? Of defects in the mankind's perception. Sometimes something will be so clear now. There will be a judgment in court. Then after a while, they what? They will abrogate it. Or they will appeal it and they will turn the judgment upside down. It's because maybe something was needed to them. Because of their living. But Allah knows that what Allah has decreed. So Allah is all knowing. So there's no abrogation anymore. Are we together? Because even abrogation in Islam, when the Sharia was simply reviewed from Rasulullah, it's not because of lack of knowledge. It was to suit a time. What was contextual. So let's make this rule now. After a while, it should not be the rule. So based on what suits the time, not because of ignorance. Unlike that of mankind, a judge will base his judgment on a particular fact that is exposed to. After a while, because of his lack of knowledge of giving fact, they will overturn the law and change to something new. That is mankind. So for you to now subject Allah's law, which is ultimate, to your own rationality, you move it from one color to the other. And that's what you see in the world today. Today something is right. Tomorrow, before, if you say you are cisgender, I feel you are this thing. Your knowledge is what? They will say you are mad. It's madness, it's mental case. But you say, I believe I'm in the wrong body. This body is not my body. I am spiritually or mentally feminine, but I'm physically masculine. But today, they say it's right. So that we want to subject the laws of Allah to the laws of mankind. Tomorrow they will tell you Christianity is permissible. Because people are calling to already. Like I have said with animals. So people are calling to incest already. So what if you can say liberalism, because the foundation of religion is what very like. Liberalism, what very like. That's liberalism, that's the foundation. Even though to them is a lie. So that's what they say in the foundation. So if I decide I want to sleep with an animal, what's the business? And that's the foundation of why a person can change himself to a girl. They say it's your body. Whatever you like, the body by choice. Umar can say, I want to do anything. I want to pierce wherever in my body. I want to put a ring on my thumb, put on my nose, do tattoo everywhere. You can say it's their body. This is the foundation of their belief. So tomorrow we now come saying, no, you can't do that anymore because their views have changed. Then we have nationalism and patriotism. This one is common amongst us today. Urban nation. Those of you that use social media say Ashani now, Ashani. Culture is from what? Religion. Let's not do it, yo. I think I'm going to now opposite. So you as a Muslim, Fulani slave, is that calling you names? Is that giving you that for your own? Yeah, Fulani slave. You know, they take nationalism is good from an aspect, from a point of view, that is to love yourself and your people. Alright? I'm proud to be a Yoruba person. We are proud to be Igbo, no problem. We are proud to be Hausa. We are proud to be Ibio, no problem. But once it begins to lead to injustice or oppression of others, or a sense of superiority, that superiority that Islam comes in. Nobody is superior on account of race, or account of color, or shape of their head. They are not superior to anybody. Inna akramakum inna Allahi atqakum. The most virtuous, the most honorable amongst you is the most pious. Inside of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the fact that I'm better than an Igbo person, an Igbo person is better than the person Igbo, I'm better than a TV person. Everybody just take what accordingly according to their actions. So once you believe that your body is superior than others, let's excommunicate others. It leads to xenophobia, it leads to injustice. Islam is against that. Or your nationality, your sense of nationality, I'm a Yoruba person. I now want to lead you towards haram. Then I don't go. I don't have it goes against the doctrine of Islam. So choose one. You want to be a Wathani? You want to be an idolater or a Muslim? Choose one. We are not saying you should not stop being Yoruba, but don't carry a book. Don't do and secretly not be a Muslim. We Muslims are not one of us. I hope you understand. So you shouldn't cover out when you say this is not Islam. And everybody believes, even Christians believe this. You cannot say you are a Christian and want to be doing it. They will tell you, guys, that's not what Christianity is all about. So just as a Muslim, you cannot be a Muslim as you want to be Christianity. You cannot gather between two opposites. So you stay with your Islam. Either you are a Muslim or you are not. I hope you understand. Doesn't stop from being proudly Yoruba. Doesn't from doing things that will benefit Yoruba. I thought it's harder. But we have humanism as well. We say humanity. We have existentialism. These two are connected. Which one is left? Feminism. I've not many time. We mentioned that feminism earlier, right?
Yes.
There's nothing like feminism, there's nothing like Islamic feminism. No matter how first it is. So humanity. Say leave religion, humanity. When they are saying that, tell them, honestly now, what humanity wants in the nutshell is that don't put religion in matter like you said. So humanity first. So somebody is committing sodomy. Say that believe in humanity, Don't talk anything. He's committing fraud. Big lie. Yahoo can do whatever they like. The government is doing humanity first. Maybe he's doing so he's doing charity. All he's doing Yahoo. Swindling other people. You now say it's wrong. Don't do it. There's anything now. You used to do charity now. You used to share food to people. Humanity first. So whenever they claim they use that word humanity to attack people of religion, stay away from it. Answer them. If what you by humanity that we should be good to others, we should be kind to others. That is Islam. Islam wants Rahman to be kind. As well as kindness, obedience to Allah, not transgressing against other people's rights, not taking other people's rights. If that's humanity, that's Islam as well. Islam does not go against it. Once it begins there, you can do whatever you like. You can say whatever you like. Don't judge anybody. To each his own come. All that was against the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. The best nation because she called to good and forbid evil. That's Islam. So when I say you tell them in fact humanity, the humanity that you have for that person, why you are telling them to go is right. But Yama is humanity involved in them, it does not event. It does not event. It's because you want good for them, is why you are telling them to want to embrace Islam. It's why you are telling them to do what is good. So avoid what is haram. Because all that Allah has prohibited with entirety is for the good of mankind. Riba, interest, usury, it favors a few and harms the rest. Banditry is not for the good of mankind. All that is haram, that Allah says is haram, is for the good of mankind. That is avoiding is for the good of mankind. So homosexuality, lesbianism, fornication, adultery is for the good of mankind. Stay away from intoxicants that will destroy your intellect and your morality. Now start doing colos on the road. Is that humanity? That's not humanity. And all these are not what Allah calls us to. Is that by humanity? That's the fundamental base of Sharia. The toxic masculinity. See, because you're a man. You now see females as lesser human beings, and treat them anyhow. That is not Islam. If you are a father or a husband, if you mistreat those under your care, Allah will identify your good parents. Allah has put people in your care, your sisters. Your sisters are not those working, but a man, you have sisters. They're not supposed to be doing anything. Go and fetch water for them. They are your queens, but for Allah, your sisters. They are your queens. Women are supposed to be pampered. I'm not saying teach them adab, right? But they are not supposed to do what men do. You know, see when carrying a pen and behind him. Our Sheikh was saying it one time. I saw the video. In Yoruba land, you are fufu. You are that you don't see Babalata. You are fufu. You are Ramala. This Babalamala. It's when they are doing it. What people are supposed to do it. It's not good for your nature. And that's why you get older you cannot enjoy them anymore. It's you that was stressed when that man said, "Oh, my boy is younger." It was a little bit because of the lifestyle we expose them to. You know what I'm saying now? People are supposed to be taken care of. You have to send a message to that sister, my sister, what are you doing? The road is not safe. Wow. I don't like those person on the road. If she wants to go out, if she must go out, see her off. Why do you think that Islam says you want to take what you travel to Makkah? Is to protect your women folk because of idiots out there. If you go to the Yaba market, your sister is working and you're working beside her, you think anybody will come and touch her? So come and check this. You will be in the market. They come and check this. No, they will not touch her because they see a man beside her. When she goes alone, some idiots pull her. They pull her hijab. The sister was complaining that she was in boss. The man used her hijab to kill his. Yes, that was your sister. If I was with her, for example, like my sister, my wife, we took the girl together. You know, use that. Do you understand? These are realities. Even non-Muslim know this, that you have to protect your women folk. But then, all these isms try to what? It is not, it will tell you it's oppressive, it's toxic masculinity. Protecting your women is toxic. Must tell them not to go. Even some laws, for example, the law of not driving, but that's the example they give. Say somebody is oppressive, but they used to allow their women to drive car. It was for the sake of women, and they said they should not rent cars. It's for the sake of women, not because it was oppressive. Now they've changed the law because it's maybe that threat that we prevented or prohibited against is no more. Now women can drive cars. Because it's not haram in itself. Driving a woman riding a horse is not haram in itself. Like driving a car is not haram in itself. They prohibited it for a purpose to protect women folk. Every law of Allah, as a woman, that the best thing for a woman is at home. It's for the sake of women in the community. They are not work by force because they have been affected with a feministic ideology. Some people have been affected, but they don't know. Some of you are feminists without realizing it. You know, they tell you that, no matter, stay at home. You're feeding everything by hand. That's how it works. Because you've taken, and that's why some of your roles and jobs clash with your fundamental role at home. Now, as a woman, whatever you want to do in this life, Islam doesn't not want you, Islam doesn't not study you, but don't let it affect your primary. If your career is going to affect your primary objective, it's going to affect you in this life and thereafter. So the work you do make it suitable, like you told you guys yesterday. Your career should be suitable for what? For your primary objective in this life. So what are the causes which are the one? The causes of how you contract these viruses. How you contract these viruses. One is ignorance. Why? Because it's when you are ignorant that you bring one issue. Like yesterday. So I speak about is that thing as senior intellectual? You know, ask them, how many QUR'AN are there? How many have finished QUR'AN? They're not ready for quality, but it was in lifetime. Now the Islam is oppressive, what are the oppressive aspects of Islam? We are not on top. When you break it down academically, logical discussion, they will run away, they will start insulting. And they will start bringing fallacies. So it's always ignorance. It's an ignoramus. It's ignorance that will make you leave the guidance of Allah. Who that this gold or bigger, what that is bigger than gold, is what is ignorance that will make you leave it for something else. Allah. And if you are exposed, you are educated, there is nothing I'll play about Muslim. I always discuss my Sheikh. There's nothing always to say. And it's not a matter of bragging. There is nothing you bring to me in this life, whether discussion, any matter in this life, that I can unsee it through the lens of Sharia. I cannot see another way. How? Because there is guidance for everything in Sharia. We're talking about business, I have principles for Sharia. Talking about neighbor, how to deal with your neighbor, there are principles in Sharia. We're talking about anger, traffic light, how to use it. There are guidance in Sharia. How you to park your car on the road, there is guidance, at least for it. Do not park your animal, your piece of burden, to block the road of people. Because if it causes problem for them, you will be liable to it. Don't cause harm to others. Do it fully on what I'm saying now. So you ask people want to use the roadside supermarket. That's what people do. They will not park their car in the middle of the road. Others will not wait for the crossing road, but not in the action of the other. Now, and that's why we go to developed societies, like Islam is there. When you go for Hajj, don't park your car anywhere during Hajj. There are places you park, there are places you can put your wares to sell. Just not to cause is the harm, traffic of people during Hajj. You now carry a tool in your car or on your right, or your animal piece of body. That tool now destroys somebody's property. You pay for it, Jerry. You pay for it. Somebody wants to sell the house. There is neighbor. You want to sell it out. And there is neighbor. Before he sells to an outsider, he has to tell you want to buy it. It is your right in Sharia. So I will never sell it to anybody that doesn't have what that come and dissolve you. You know what I'm saying now? But if I sell it to somebody else, just bring his own nonsense. Maybe it's a factory bring. And you are disturbing our family in his house. His neighbors are they have factory and they deliver it. So imagine you are living in a residential area. God wants to sell this land next to you. He has to tell you first that I want to sell this land. Are you interested? You have to wait that right first before you go outside. Because if they sell to somebody that won't want to disturb you, and if he does that without consenting you, he's what? He has gone against that person. And there is remedy dispute. But there is remedy for himself. So when they bring this, that you don't know, you think they brought something new. As a Muslim, the Sharia order is complete. As a matter of fact, majority of all the Islamic financial principles of transaction in common law are got it from Islam. Are got from the Maliki school of thought in Madrid. With Napoleon, whatever, that commanded the scholars to interpret all the Maliki jurisprudence into French. It is from French to move into English common law. That was how many years ago? 17th century. You know what Islam has been? 1,400 years ago. Can you compare what has developed over 1,400 years ago to what is developing 300 years ago? It's impossible. That Islam is complete. The road that you feel your convocation clothes that you are wearing, where is the gospel? If someone came by now, you will that you get from where? If from another one now, but that's how the scholars used to dress at the time. In Baghdad and the likes. So they took that appearance from the Muslims. So when they tell you, when they bring those things, it's because you are not aware of your own heritage that makes you go and embrace every new ideology, ignorance, and prejudice as well. Zulum are biased, not biased. We just jump into this. If you some people today, they go and let's do this in Sharia. You then know because the one that they want to follow figure them. Higher potential of conventional higher potential that is haram. That is very oppressive for the other person. Even though the person pays some money, does not pay him, collect the car and the money. But Sharia is not that way. Then the guys who Sharia, they know. Sharia business really. Muslims. So if they don't want to have Sharia, they will don't sound because they want to fulfill their own what? Desires. Also, trauma, personal authority. Because somebody who ate polygamy because their auntie was cheated, or their mother was polygamy, or they saw somebody that suffered, or they think they suffered this. So they fight anything against Pope. Once you say Pope, you will not finish it. So to the extent that they hate the Sharia of Allah that permits it. So you may not like to be a poor wife. That's your personal, that's human, we are humans. Humans are inherently selfish. And that's what promotes capitalism. Whereas when selfishness, trying to control all aspects of production to the benefit of others. So Islam reads you of that selfishness. When you feel that Allah and Muslim, Allah can begin or you worship nafsi. So Islam reads you of that selfish what? That individualism. So you see that when they suffer from these things. So it's normal for somebody to be selfish. They are only me my husband. I cannot show my husband. It's normal. But don't hate the Lord that permits it. Always clear. They will now have what is the cure and the antidote to this. Knowledge. Then Islam and you free. Then Islam and what? You will be free. We will talk about this knowledge. Knowledge is power of Allah. If you have knowledge, people that are promoting this among that are ignorant, people that have knowledge. And when they talk I had about 4 years or 5 years ago, after the discussion, the sister now said, she was practicing Islamic feminism. You know that she's genuine. Now, the feminists, I'm not saying wrong with feminism now. The feminists. And that's okay. This is what we are talking about. We are not saying feminism will be around 100%. There are some things you will find in feminism as well as the same thing capitalism, the same thing secularism. Every ism has an what, like we said earlier on, has a what, a kingdom of fruit in it. Because if you have Shaitan has mixed false food. Shaitan will not tell you it's haram. Brilliantly. To mix it. So I told her that see, you have to be a man. And this one makes it wrong ideology. They don't like Islam community from all the rights you want to protect is protect Islam. Every right of women that you want to protect is in Islam already. So there is only adoption you make. Just leave it as you want. And this person genuinely left it. She left it. So there are some people that are promoting this genuinely. because they are not aware of remedies that Islam has offered them. So such person, they need knowledge. They are generally speaking, al-ihsan, ay-muraqabatullahi, is-sirri wal-alaniyya. That is, you must be conscious of Allah in all that you do. Anything that you want to learn or know in this life, know that Allah is guiding. And Islam is the Qur'an. The Quran is the Qur'an. Is what? Is the ground of the rule of God. Wal-mutaba'a, ay-mutaba'at Rasulillah. You must follow Rasulullah. وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَاسْتَنِبُوهُ. Whatever Rasul gives you, take it. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. And you manage Panda, and you manage gold, but in son, you will Panda. Don't throw Mama you. Mama was son back. If you don't know what you owe, what you have, I want to pray for you. So follow Allah's guidance. Follow something and go. All that you need about this life is the Quran and the Sunnah. These are the things that will make you be able to see from what is right and what is wrong, from all the contemporary ideologies that we have, and the one that will seek up. وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Don't judge men when you blow.
Now, so I'm talking that we all enjoyed the lecture. Honestly, if you are left to start talking, I know he has a lot to share with us. So he's telling me now that because after this session, also have a question and answer section. So because he has to go and pray Jum'ah in the hospital mosque like this Salah. So what we'll do is that we'll be having the question and answer for his own session and the other class session after the other person. Do you understand? That is having something together after the class session. So now we have the interactive session that we handled by the head teacher of our company staff. So we need to discuss also after the lecturers. Now we are checking that for Juma too. So we're watching the time for Juma. So the mail would go for Juma University. So we display the what's it called? The link for the questions.
So, no. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi. No, thank you all for coming to this symposium. I hope you all make just lesson from what our lecturer has just delivered. So, as the one of our starters mentioned the other time, we're going for solar, inshallah, by 1 p.m. We are going to stop by 1 p.m. and we'll be conveyed to solar, university for solar. And then, as for the females, inshallah, they are going to pray solar to students from here. And we are going to, there will be an imam that will lead them for